Most business owners only think about compliance the moment something goes wrong. A missed filing. A lapsed registration. A lawsuit that suddenly gets a lot more complicated because the business wasn't actually in good standing when it counted. Here's the problem: by the time you notice, it's usually already cost you something. So today, let's talk about what ongoing compliance really means, why it matters more than most owners realize, and how to stay ahead of it, instead of finding out the hard way. Ongoing compliance for an LLC or corporation really comes down to a handful of core obligations, and they're the same ones no matter what state you're in. Number 1, annual or biennial state filings. Most states require a report every year, or every other year, confirming your business is still active and your information is current. Number 2, maintaining a registered agent. Someone has to be reachable at a real address to accept legal and state documents on your business's behalf, at all times. Number 3, paying required fees. Filing fees, franchise taxes, licensing renewals, whatever your state and industry require. And number 4, keeping proper records. Meeting minutes, officer and member information, and your core corporate documents, kept current and organized. None of these are complicated on their own. But skip any one of them long enough, and the consequences start to compound. Miss an annual report, and the first thing that happens is a late fee, usually small, sometimes not. But continued neglect doesn't just mean bigger fines. States can move to administratively dissolve your business entirely. That means, on paper, your LLC or corporation stops existing. You lose the liability protection it was built to give you, your right to use your business name, and your ability to legally operate, all because a form didn't get filed. Staying current keeps you in what's called good standing. And that's not just a formality, it's a status the state actively tracks, and one that other people check before they decide to do business with you. Here's where it gets practical. Banks, lenders, landlords, and larger companies routinely ask for a certificate of good standing before they'll open an account, extend financing, sign a lease, or sign a contract with you. And the state will not issue that certificate if you're behind on filings or fees. So a missed report 2 years ago can quietly block a loan you're trying to close today. It's one document, but it can be the difference between a deal moving forward and a deal stalling out. Compliance also protects something bigger than any single transaction. It protects the corporate veil itself. If your business is ever sued, and someone tries to hold you personally liable, courts look at whether the business was actually run as a separate legal entity. Was it maintained properly? Were records kept? Were filings current? A pattern of missed filings and sloppy record-keeping is exactly the kind of evidence a court points to when deciding the entity wasn't really being treated as separate from its owner. In other words, the very protection you formed an LLC or corporation to get can be undone by neglecting the maintenance that keeps it real. If you operate in more than one state, this gets more complex, because every state has its own deadlines, its own fees, and its own forms. Tracking that across 3, 5, or 10 states can't run on memory alone. It needs a system. And record-keeping itself, meeting minutes, officer records, corporate documents, isn't just paperwork sitting in a drawer. It's what proves your entity is genuine when it actually matters, during litigation, during due diligence when someone's evaluating your business, or when you go to sell or finance it. Compliance isn't a one-time task you check off when you form the business. It's an ongoing discipline, and honestly, it reflects how seriously you're treating the structure you built in the first place. The businesses that stay protected aren't the ones that never had a filing due. They're the ones that never let a filing slip.